Okay, please, keep your volume low. If you can hear my voice right now, don't adjust your screen. Just listen to me very carefully. We usually break down data, research, and technical articles here on The Explainer, but this is entirely different. Our team was actually analyzing a massive spike in anomalous, unencrypted packet traffic across the American Midwest when we snagged this file. What you're about to see is a deep dive analysis of an intercepted dark web broadcast. But I really need you to understand something before we go any further. This isn't just some urban legend. By opening this file, by watching this explainer right now, you are already in danger. The entity we're tracking, it knows when its data is being downloaded. It knows when it's being watched. We're going to look at what we found, but whatever you do, please do not look away from the screen. Take a really close look at the source of this transmission. We call him the Midnight Reaper. This hooded, skeletal broadcaster has literally been bypassing digital security and hijacking unencrypted feeds all across the United States. We're talking about local news station takeovers in the Pacific Northwest, compromised private security cameras down in the Rust Belt, and, terrifyingly, even baby monitors up in New England. He is broadcasting his hunt for souls directly to his victims. Notice those elongated claws resting right near the microphone, and those burning red eyes staring out from the pitch-black void of that hood. It deliberately uses these edge-to-edge, full-screen broadcasts to establish a direct psychological and physical link. It isn't just speaking into an empty void. When you look into those red eyes, it is staring directly into your soul, actively mapping out your deepest psychological weaknesses.
So right in the middle of its last transmission, the audio didn't just casually drop out. It was severed abruptly by this god-awful sound like tearing metal mixed with human screams, which was then instantly replaced by a dead, heavy static, and then this single string of text flashed across the feed. Let me just read it for you. "I am broadcasting live from the ruins, and I can hear your heartbeat." There was absolutely no IP address attached to this text, no routing trace, nothing. The crucial takeaway here is that this isn't some recorded loop or an elaborate digital prank. This is a live feed. This entity is actively hunting, it is actively listening, and right now it is literally listening to the rhythm of your chest as you process these exact words. It wants you to know exactly where it operates before it comes for you. Our geolocation data? It didn't point to any known coordinates on a normal map. It resolved to a localized dark zone, a totally impossible place. The metadata tags hidden in the broadcast code actually call it Scary Town. Notice the entrance here. Look at that stark, blood-red warning painted right over the welcome sign, "Leave before dark." But honestly, if you're seeing this, it's already too late. And look at that spectral figure down there, the woman in the blood-stained white dress, standing completely motionless in the wet street. She isn't a survivor, guys. She's a sentinel. Local urban legends across the U.S. have whispered about this exact threshold for decades, claiming that if you drive down the wrong desolate highway at 3 in the morning, it leads you right here. But this is the very first hard, visual proof we've ever managed to obtain. Once you cross this threshold into the Reaper's territory, your fate is entirely sealed. As we analyze the background resolution of the broadcast, we get a much wider, horrifying view of this nightmare. This isn't just some small town. It's a massive, ruined city skyline completely shrouded in apocalyptic darkness. The skyscrapers are just hollowed-out, decayed shells silhouetted against a totally dead sky. And this desolate wasteland serves a very specific dark purpose. It's a massive, inescapable prison. Just think about the thousands of missing persons reports filed across the country every single year. People who simply vanish from locked rooms or empty highways without a trace. Every soul the Midnight Reaper has ever claimed is dragged right back to this urban purgatory. It is an entire phantom city built on the stolen lives of everyone who thought this broadcast was just a harmless late-night internet video.
The way this thing hunts is it's incredibly methodical, and it actively uses the environment to completely break its victims' minds before the very end. The transmission shows these gothic cobblestone streets bathed in this sickly, eerie yellow lamplight. Do you see that claustrophobic fog rolling in between the twisted dead trees and the jagged rooftops? That fog isn't just weather. Our behavioral analysis of the broadcast clearly indicates it's a sensory deprivation tactic. The Reaper fills the streets with it, literally forcing you to walk blindly through the dark. You're jumping at every single shadow. Your adrenaline is just spiking because you know for a fact that the skeleton is out there in the mist, slowly dragging its claws against the cobblestone, hovering just out of sight.
Now you might be thinking, okay, I can just turn around, find the edge of town, and walk right out. But look at this isolated road. The fog is so incredibly thick it completely swallows the trees, and standing under that single dying street lamp is the spectral woman again. Right next to her is a rusted sign warning you to turn back now. But the terrifying truth is, you can't. The entity deliberately isolates its targets by creating these massive spatial paradoxes. Euclidean geometry just completely breaks down in this place. If you try to walk in a straight line away from that sign, the fog thickens, the road twists, and inexplicably, you find yourself looping right back to this exact same street lamp. Every single road that looks like a way out just leads you deeper into the dark, deeper into the psychological isolation, until there is absolutely nowhere left to go but underground. Which leads us directly here, the blood-stained tunnels beneath the ruined city. When the real panic sets in and the surface logic totally fails, victims almost universally try to hide down in the subterranean train tracks. But look closely at the concrete walls. Look at those desperate, jagged red letters scrawled all across them. Run, run, run. The victims who came before you left that warning. And the audio we've recovered from similar dark web feeds, it is absolutely agonizing. We have literally heard recordings of victims running in these exact tunnels for literal days, their footsteps just echoing endlessly, only to round a corner and find the exact same spectral figure waiting at the end of the tracks, barely illuminated by the flickering emergency lights. You are completely trapped in a subterranean nightmare, and the Reaper is right behind you.
And this is where the hunt always ends. A desolate, rotten room deep within the ruins. There's an abandoned hospital bed covered in grime, and scrawled on the cracked wall in fresh blood, a final, grisly message: I saw you. This represents the absolute finality of the trap. It implies the Midnight Reaper has finally cornered its prey. And why this matters to you, right now, is because it doesn't just kill you, it claims you. It rips your soul from your body and leaves absolutely nothing behind but a screaming reflection painted on the wall. This is exactly what happens to every single person who watches the broadcast to the very end.
Wait, okay, hold on. Something is really wrong here. My feed is overriding the controls. I didn't pull this source back up. The broadcast is shifting. Do you see its eyes? They're glowing brighter. The telemetry on our end, it's not pinging the ruins anymore. Oh God, it's pinging a new location. It's pinging your IP address. The Midnight Reaper is no longer hunting in the ruins. It is looking right through this screen, right at you, right now.
Don't move. Don't breathe. Just listen very, very closely. Do you hear the footsteps outside your door right now?